Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Mrs. Kelly. I am a flight attendant for a major US airline, and I've been doing this now over 5 years, so I would like to think that I am a little versed in what goes on in this industry, right? So in today's video, I'm gonna talk to you guys about how scheduling kind of works and how the pay actually works, okay? Just to give you guys a heads up, because I had no idea, okay? I'm gonna be honest with you, I was oblivious to how this all works when I became a flight attendant all those years ago, and I just don't want you guys to come into this thinking, oh my god, I'm gonna be rich. Oh my god, it's gonna be the best thing ever. I'm gonna be so flexible. I'm gonna get to travel the world and do this and do that and all those things, okay? So if you're interested to learn more about how a flight attendant schedule works and also how pay works for a flight attendant, just keep on watching. Okay, so we're gonna jump right into scheduling, right? First thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna show you guys my schedule for this month. It is the month of May, okay, 2025, and you guys will see my schedule. Now, it might look as though everything is all great, everything is all nice, everything is fantastic, which in hindsight it kind of is, but please keep in mind, I'm 5 years in. I've paid my dues up to this point. So I do get to kind of pick my schedule at this point, right? Now, starting out as a new flight attendant, your schedule will more than likely not look anything like mine, okay? So it will more than likely not look anything like mine, unless you end up really lucky, which in this industry is really hard, but unless you end up really lucky, your schedule will more than likely not look like mine. Now, I'll just kind of break down my schedule for this month. This month, I only work 5 trips this month, and I'm working mostly long trips. So I'm gone 4 days at a time on these trips. It's back and forth, back and forth. And also, full disclosure, I'm a first class flight attendant. I only work first class, and I work, what is that, cross country? Yeah, I work cross country. I was going to say cross content. No, anyways, I work cross country. So I'm doing 6-hour flights each time, okay? So just to give you guys a little bit of context there. Now, when you first start as a flight attendant, you will more than likely be on something that is called reserve. And reserve sounds exactly what it is exactly what it sounds like, meaning you're on call. You are on call. You are at the mercy of the airline. You are at the mercy of your company. And most of the time you're sitting around doing nothing. It'll be a lot of twiddling of the thumbs. It'll be a lot of self-entertaining. But on the other side of that, there is potential for you to end up in like amazing places. You know what I mean? Now, when I first started, well, I also should say that I did sit reserve for 2 years. Full disclosure. Full reserve for 2 years, but it wasn't all bad. So out of training, my first ever trip was, well, it wasn't a trip. My first ever flight was a flight to the Bahamas. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful on landing, beautiful. It was nice. To this date, it's probably like my worst trip I've ever done, but it taught me a lot and it prepared me for everything that I am able to do now and all of that, okay? But that is also one of those things where you get lucky, you know what I mean? First trip out of training and you're getting to fly to the Bahamas? What? Right. Although I didn't stay, it was still a beautiful experience, you know what I mean? And then you also get international pay, which I'll touch on in a little later. So, schedule wise, for my airline, you can do you can work up to 6 days at a time. So you can do your reserve block being 6 days back to back. You're on call. Now, you can be home reserve, which means you get to stay in the comfort of your home. And if you get called, you get dressed, you go to the airport, you do what it is that you need to do. Or you can get airport standby, which means you are dressed, ready to go, bags packed, and everything, and you're sitting at the airport waiting for them to use you, right? Now, this is not just an hour, this is not 2 hours, this can be up to six. I'm trying to think if six is the max, or is it eight? It might be eight that is the max hours that you could do airport standby. For us, it's six. So you're literally just sitting in the airport. Hopefully you had your lunch packed, you had food ready to go and all of that. But reserve is something that every single flight attendant has gone through. Well, every single airline flight attendant, like major airline flight, well, not major, but airline flight attendant in general, commercial. That is something that you will have to go through. Now, how long is very different for each airline. It also depends on if they're hiring at the time. Obviously, more people means, you get pushed up in seniority, which means the faster you can get off reserve. It's a very senior base industry. You have to put in your time. You have to pay your dues to elevate. Right. Now, your schedule is awarded for us about a month in advance, right? So if there's things that you need to plan ahead, you need to put in those days. When you're bidding for your schedule, you need to put in those days that you wish to be off and hope and pray that whoever is doing the scheduling will honor those days for you, right? It's not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee. Because when you're putting in your bids for your schedule, you're essentially saying to the scheduling gods, hey, I know this is based on operational need. However, if you can please give me these days off, I would really appreciate it. That's pretty much what you're saying. For me, at this point, I pretty much get the days that I bid off. And I just about get the schedule that I bid for each time. On reserve, you will more than likely not. What I've seen is that people who bid for like 6-day blocks, they're usually pretty good with giving you that if that's what you want, which also works out because if you're doing all your 6 days in a row, that means you can potentially have an entire week off where you don't have to be on call, you don't have to think about work, you don't have to do any of that, right? So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. I know I just said a whole lot of stuff, but if there's anything that you're confused about, just drop a comment down below and I will answer it personally, okay? But just keep that in mind that scheduling, it's not a 9 to 5. It's not a 9 to 5. Be prepared, okay? It's not a 9 to 5. There are days when you will have to wake up out of your bed at 2 a.m. And I know that because I have lived it. I've had report times of 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. I have to be at the airport. which means I'm getting up at 2. I'm getting up at 2:30 because I need to get ready. I need to pack my lunch bag. I need to make sure that I have all the things that I need in case they get called and da da da. And make sure everything is charged up and ready to go. And then there are other times where my report time has been 9:45 at night. So you have to be flexible. You have to be flexible. You have to be prepared. Just know that your schedule will not necessarily be what you want it to be. Now, I'm not a morning person. So at this point, I do not bid for morning flights. However, when I was on reserve, I had no choice. I had no choice. So I had to be getting up, and sometimes like you're on home reserve and I'll get a call because for my airline, if you're on home reserve, they'll call you before they use somebody that's already at the airport. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I mean, I know, but we'll have to get into that a different day because that's a whole different thing. And I've been called at 2 a.m. saying, "Hey, Miss So and So, we need you at the airport by this time. You're going to be operating a flight to Vegas, and this is your departure, this is your gate." Adding it to your schedule. And then it pops up on my schedule, and I know I need to be at the airport by a certain time. I know my gate. A lot of times they do tell you your position as well. So if you're the 1, you're the 2, you're the 3, you're the 4, you're the 10, whatever position it is that they're calling you for. Some airlines, they have a purser if it's international. So they'll let you know that once they call you, and then it should be on your schedule as well. Some airlines, you do know ahead of time. Other airlines, you know once you get to the aircraft. Okay? So keep that in mind as well. Scheduling is a whole different beast. It's a whole different... And honestly, too, with scheduling, there's a learning curve. So when you first start, it's a lot, okay? You're fresh out of training. This is a new industry for you. It's a lot. It's a lot of moving parts. It's a lot to keep up with. Benefits, flight benefits, medical benefits, your schedule, where you stay, especially if you don't live in base. You need to have an idea of where you're going to stay. Are you getting a crash pad? Are you getting an apartment? Are you getting a hotel? Are you staying with friends? What am I going to pack? Where do I get grocery? It's a lot when you first start, okay? So this is just to kind of guide you, on the different steps that will happen, and also put it in your mind that these are things that will happen, that you'll go through when becoming a flight attendant. So just keep in mind. Now, I won't jump into being a line holder so much in this video because as a new flight attendant, reserve will be your friend. Being on reserve will be your friend, okay? So just keep that in mind for sure. And then just also keep in mind your base, because your base makes a big difference in where you go, okay? I didn't say this in the previous video, but you do need to take into consideration when you're thinking about the airlines you want to apply for, think about the bases that that airline has, and if those bases are something that you'd be able to do. So if your city is not a base, will you be able to move to a different city? Will you be able to move to a different state? Will you have somewhere to stay in a different state to accommodate this new job that you're doing? Is there flights? Will you be able to commute back and forth? Because you also have to keep those things in mind, okay? But again, I'll go into that in a different video when I'm talking to you more about becoming a line holder, which is the other phase. Once you've gone through all of your reserve, you've paid your dues, you then become a line holder, which means you no longer are on call. You're no longer fully at the mercy of the company, because you're still at the mercy of the company. But now you know your schedule. Now you know where you're going ahead of time. You know where you're going to stay, which hotel you're going to stay in. You know who you're working with. You know your position. Yeah. Yeah. More stability. More stability once you become a line holder, okay? So keep that in mind. I'll have it in the next video. So the next part of this is the pay, right? I had no idea. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I never know nothing about the pay thing. I had no idea about how I was getting paid as a flight attendant. I just thought, okay, this is my starting pay, because they do let you know once you have accepted your conditional job offer. They do let you know, hey, this is your pay rate. This is your pay rate. You know, they let you know all of that. Great. So I'm like, okay, nice. This is nice. Okay. And I think at the time that was the highest I've ever been paid at the time. Okay. Grant you, I'm in my 20s. So now I was in my 20s at the time. So now being a little bit more versed, and I think there's still so much for me to learn from this industry, but where pay is concerned, you do have to realize that there is a base pay. That is your pay that you get regardless per hour, right? And this is not on the ground hour, this is flight hours. So this is once the door is closed, you push back from the gate, you start getting paid by the hour. This is your base pay, right? Base pay. Now, what happens in this industry is that on top of their base pay, which is how you really make the money add up, on top of your base pay, there is per diem, right? Per diem is exactly what it sounds like. It is what you get per, and some of those are 50 cents, $1, $2, $3, $4, depending on the different circumstances, right? So for my airline, you get per diem based on your position. So if you're working the lead position, you get like a certain amount of money based on that. If you're going international, meaning you're going across international waters to a different country, you have to come back and go through customs. You get a per diem for that. You get time away from base, meaning you're now not in your base. So I'm a New York based flight attendant. Once I leave New York, I'm getting a certain amount per hour that I'm away from base, that I'm away from New York. All the way up every single hour, even when I'm sleeping. Every hour until you make it back to your base, right? What else did I say? So international, your position, your time away from base. What else is there? I think we just started like your sales, like your onboard sales. You do get a commission from that. Did we just start that? We're about to start that, I think, where you get commission based on your sales on board. So you're selling a blanket, you're selling a pillow, you're selling this, you get a commission based on that. You also have credit cards. So if you are promoting the credit card, people are signing up and getting approved and all that stuff, you get paid based on that as well. What else is there? I think there's a few more stuff, but So this is just to give you an idea that there are, different things that helps it to add up. Now, one thing you need to take into consideration when starting this job is the bills that you have. So if you have a mortgage, you have a car payment, you have a phone bill, you have your kid's school, or whatever it is, you need to take into consideration all those things, map out how much it is that you need for the month to make sure all those things are covered, especially if you're a single parent and you're doing it by yourself. You need to make sure all those things will be covered. So you need to take into consideration how many hours are you working. Remember, you're getting a base pay. Now, when you're calculating, you're not calculating your per diem, you're calculating your base pay. So if I'm working $10 an hour and my bills are $6.50 for the month, I might want to work 100 hours for the month, because then I know for sure that's at least $1,000. And that gets me all my bills paid plus a little bit extra. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. And then you also need to take into consideration that you're getting paid twice a month. So maybe you're used to getting paid every week. This is not that. You're getting paid twice a month. I'm not sure about every single airline, but most airlines, there are specific days in the month that you get paid, regardless of the day of the week it is, okay? For us, we get paid twice a month on the same days, regardless if it's a Sunday, it's a Thursday, it's a Monday, whatever day it is, whatever day it falls on, that's your payday, okay? Which is kind of nice, I think. So we're not always waiting on like a Thursday or a Friday. It's literally whatever day that day lands on. So you need to take all those things into consideration, right? How much you're getting paid, what bills you have, and how much you will need to cover each bill each month. Okay? Now, this is the part where you need the village. This is the part where you need the village. Now, if you're a young person that is in your early 20s, you don't have any responsibilities, I mean, maybe like a car or like an apartment or whatever, it's a little easier, right? But once you have kids, once you introduce like a family to this life, it becomes a little bit more difficult. But as long as you have the support, I promise you, you can get it done. You can do it. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. I just said that. I'm a daughter. I'm a sister. I'm an auntie. Yeah. I'm a big sister. All of it. All of it, okay? But trust me when I say without a village, it is impossible. It is hard. It is truly hard. And also you just need to keep in mind that you'll be away from home. You'll be away from home because that's part of what the job entails. Okay, so this video, I hope you guys were able to learn something. I hope I was clear in what I was saying. And I hope that you guys got from it what you needed to about not just scheduling, but also about the pay and kind of how it works and stuff like that. Now, I won't show you my pay. I won't do that. But I have no problem showing you my schedule. And what I'll do, each month we get our schedule. I will try to do like a combination of, when I'm bidding, how I'm bidding, and then show you guys the result, meaning like the schedule that I end up getting based on the bids that I put in. Yeah. But if there's any questions at all that you have about this video, drop a comment down below and just let me know. What are your thoughts? What are your questions? What are your concerns? Anything that you're not sure about that I explained? Anything that you want me to expound on? You want me to make another video kind of getting like deep diving into it? Then please feel free. Just let me know and I will do my best to explain it. Yeah. If you're Jamaican and you're not sure about all of this and you don't know what I'm talking about, just hold on. I'm gonna do a video about becoming a US-based flight attendant, living in a different country, and all of that. Stay tuned. It's coming, okay? But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the friendly skies. Later.